What's up, bro? It's your boy Jersey Brand Books. You find on Facebook, Jersey Brand Books. Subscribe to my YouTube channel for niggas can chop it up with me. Real quick, I just gotta say this and get this off my chest. And I'm gonna just come out and say this like this. So just about a week ago, the 4 cops who were involved in the shooting of Breonna Taylor down there in Kentucky were charged federally. Now the charges are some bullshit, but now that new information have came out that the police, one of the police, had a bad search warrant, and they obtained an illegal search warrant because they didn't have enough evidence to actually get a search warrant to search the Breonna Taylor's house. But someone signed off on it, and because that happened, the police, for one, the police were actually all fired because they had bad misinformation, and they could have easily found Breonna Taylor would still be alive if the cops, all they had to do was do a background check. I mean, you guys are the cops. How you don't know if somebody's in custody already? So the cops went there with a warrant looking for somebody who already was in jail. So that in itself is just mind-blowing. So a lot of people don't understand. The people who try to criminalize Breonna Taylor, who are the anti-black racists, because people who are anti-black racists, they're so dedicated to their racism, they're so, they have allegiance to their racism, that they can't say that the cops is wrong for killing a black person, even when it's morally wrong. They still cannot find it within themselves to say the cops is wrong. Even in this situation, clearly the cops is wrong. But they still try to bring up 9 factors of information that don't matter. Because regardless of what you say, you can say Breonna Taylor was a drug dealer and they didn't find no drugs in her house. White people, the anti-black racists, they know the details of the case. They know. They still try to criminalize her by saying she was dating a nigga that was selling drugs, but the dude wasn't even, she dated the guy, Jamarcus Glover, who the cops was looking for. They broken up 4 years ago. They wasn't even together. He wasn't even listed as a resident in her home. You see what I'm saying? They were not together. The current boyfriend is the one who was not even under investigation by the cops. And they know this. They know the details already. They know. So what happened was that night, Kenneth Walker shot at the police unknowingly that it was the cops, because the cops failed to identify themselves. But the anti-black racists will say that the cops identify themselves because they're trying to not hold the cops accountable for shooting that girl. They still have to criminalize her, but they can't. She wasn't a drug dealer. There was no drugs in the house. Kenneth Walker don't have no criminal record. So it doesn't matter. The police wasn't supposed to be there. That we know. But people cannot call out the corruption and the injustice of the racist-ass police. They just can't. They still will try to find a way to criminalize this young girl, but you can't. You can't. We are taxpaying citizens. We have law enforcement obtaining fake false documents for warrants and stuff like that to go into our homes and shoot taxpaying citizens. All those cops should be charged. And if you don't think so, you're anti-black racist. If you don't think that the cops should have been charged, you're an anti-black racist. And that's just really what it is. Because it doesn't make no sense how, it's one thing, people are racist, but wrong is wrong. Wrong is wrong. You can't keep telling, the thing is, a lot of people, white folks, you can't keep telling us about Breonna Taylor being a drug dealer. That's not a fact. Breonna Taylor didn't have drugs in her home. You can't keep telling us about her having a dead body in her trunk. That was years ago. None of that matters. None of it matters. What matters is what was happening that night. What was going on that night? That's what we need to talk about. She wasn't on trial. She didn't get convicted for having a dead body in her trunk. So I don't want to talk about it because it's irrelevant. It doesn't matter. And it doesn't really matter. The only reason why you're bringing it up is because white people who have anti-black racist ideologies, like I said, their dedication to racism is so real that they can't say that the cops is wrong for killing a black person. They just can't. Within themselves. They cannot bring it within themselves to hold the cops accountable for killing any black person. They will sit here and still try to criminalize Breonna Taylor, even though they can't. They can't, because nothing they say is facts. Is facts. So this is the truth. And people wonder why black Americans. You wonder why black people have a victim mentality or acting like victims. Show me where white cops or even black cops have obtained a fake warrant, not even a fake warrant, just went out the way to do something illegal and cover it up, harming a white person at that, and got away with it. Where? Show me where. Show us the equivalence of a situation where police officers are going into white folks' home, gunning them down. You don't think that's why people have a victim mentality? You think we just complaining and making shit up? Oh, systematic racism doesn't exist. But how doesn't it exist when we have law enforcement agency officers, white cops at that, getting away with killing people? The truth is the truth, bro. The cops was wrong, bro. Like, it's not that hard, bro. Some people, because racism has a lot to do with insecurities. You see what I'm saying? But you can't be that insecure to not say the cops was wrong. Or the police shot first. I mean, they say the boyfriend shot first. The boyfriend shot only one time. That's the crazy part. The cops shot each other. The cops actually shot each other. The boyfriend shot one time. Because what saved him was he was on the phone with the 911 dispatcher, and he told the 911 dispatcher that someone just shot his girlfriend. So that's how we know that he didn't know it was the police. These are the facts. But the anti-black racists, they know this already, but they have to still try to criminalize the situation. So they say the boyfriend should never shot at the cops. He didn't know it was the cops. And even if he did, Kentucky is a stand your ground state. Kentucky's a stand your ground state. So it doesn't apply for black people? You have a right to defend yourself in the state of Kentucky. They have stand your ground laws. So all this shit about he shot the cop first, you're so racist that you don't even give him the benefit of doubt of not knowing it was the police. Only one person said that the cops identified themselves. Only one person. Most of the people in the complex and at the residence said that the cops didn't identify themselves. They didn't hear the cops identify themselves. But we know the cops didn't identify themselves because Kenneth Walker said on the phone to the 911 dispatcher that someone just shot his girlfriend. He didn't know it was the cops. So what's the argument for that? He should have shot at the police. He didn't know it was the cops. And even if he did, the cops did not fucking belong there. They didn't belong there in the first place. The cops went looking for somebody who already was in jail. So y'all don't call out the misconduct of the police? Everything, people are so fucking racist that they can't find it within themselves to say that the police is wrong. So, yeah, of course people have a victim mentality. You have a victim mentality too if law enforcement is killing and targeting people of your community and getting away with it at that. Because those cops are not going to be charged for that. They're not going to, those bullshit federal charges, they're not going to charge those cops for that. That's the, hell, the woman who was part of all of it, she got only 5 years. So we already know with state time, you don't even do, she probably going to do like a 2-3 years out of the 5. Slap on the wrist. Cops and shit like that get slaps on the wrist for harming us. For a capital crime. Because that's a capital crime. So don't tell me about no systematic racism. If those cops were black, let's say all 4 of those cops were black, and they did that to a white person, oh boy, all them niggas would be going to jail. They would be going to jail. They'd be going to jail. That's a fact. So Breonna Taylor, man, you know, what's sad for her family, man? You know, it's sad. And their family took that money too. They took that lawsuit money. That's one of the reasons why the cops aren't going. They're not going to face any charges either, because her family took that money. You feel me? That's what they try to pay people out. And the only reason why they took them, I mean, I can understand, but the only reason why, of course, the police, I mean, this system, you know, had to allocate some type of funding, but that means they were in the wrong anyway. So this is the fucking truth. People keep trying to criminalize that girl, but you can't. You can't. You can say what you want. You can't criminalize her. She wasn't a criminal. She didn't have a criminal record. And people keep talking about these drugs and illegal packages coming to our house. Allegedly, remember the cops were investigating, allegedly, it was packages coming to her home. Allegedly. And when the cops got there, they didn't find no drugs. At all. At all whatsoever. If the cops had the right information, Breonna Taylor still be alive. If the cops knew that the ex-boyfriend who was being investigated, if they knew that he was in custody, all this shit would be avoided. This wouldn't even be a topic of conversation. And they try to cover it up at that. So who's to say about how many other cases that they probably done covered up? And people who can't call out the corruption of the police. The only thing you can tell me is the boyfriend should never shot at the cops. He don't get the benefit of doubt not knowing it was the cops. You don't think that he wasn't charged? He wasn't charged at all. Originally he was charged, but the charges were dropped against him. Because, like I said, that 911 call to the dispatcher, that saved his ass. That saved him. That saved him because you could clearly tell he didn't know it was the cops. But the anti-black racists don't care about facts. It's all about I'm white and I say so. And that's just really what it is. It's all about I'm white and I say so. Even though it's all recorded. It's all you could actually listen to the recording itself when he was on the phone saying somebody just shot my girlfriend. He didn't know it was the police. But the anti-black racists will still say he should never shot at the cops. Trying to still justify the situation. Instead of morally, anybody with a brain or anybody with some type of humanity and some type of compassion, you know, will say, yo, the cops, that was fucked up what they did. That was wrong for what they did. They should be in jail. Anybody that's not an anti-black racist, but this country is filled with people with anti-black racist ideologies. And because we have people running around like this, the anti-black racists are the politics, the judges, even it's just all around us. So that's part of the reasons why you would hear people keep talking about some Kenneth Walker shot first and Breonna Taylor was a drug dealer, she wasn't innocent. That's all their projection of the anti-black racism. Because they can't call out the cops wrongdoing. They can't. They can't. They even justify, hell, and you know what? When Dylan Roof shot all those people in that church, they technically was capable for the dude. Even when that dude that shot out there in Buffalo, that white supremacist that shot those people in Buffalo, he wasn't murdered at all on site. So it's kind of like they get on call with each other. So the truth is the truth, bro. It is what it is, bro. We just tired of the fucking racism that we have to endure. And people say it's a victim mentality because we demand justice, right and the wrong was fair and was equal. They make us feel guilty for wanting justice for people, for the police for harming us. They make us feel guilty. They make us feel guilty. So that's all I can say about this shit, man. I'm out.